Tara is falling, spinning through the air, tears streaking her face. "Daddy," she cries, voice cracking with panic. Above her, Mark fights with everything he has, trying to break free from Onan holding him back. "Get back here," the attacker growls, slamming his fist into Mark's side. But Mark won't stop. He thrashes, eyes locked on his daughter plummeting below. The Viltrumite smirks darkly. "We're going to leave you just alive enough to clean up her remains. You'll see her again. Don't worry. That's the last straw." With a roar, Mark lands a brutal punch. "Tara!" he yells, helplessly reaching out. Below, Tara continues to fall, screaming. Then, something changes. Her panic slows. Her body steadies midair. She blinks. "What? I can fly." A tear still clings to her cheek, but her face lights up in awe. Tara floats midair, still upside down, still amazed. "Dad, I can fly." She turns, looking around. "Dad," but there's no answer. The wind rushes by, and the silence feels heavy. Her expression shifts. "Daddy, I can't go down. I'm scared." She twists midair, trying to control herself, but the panic starts creeping in again. Her face tightens. "Oh no, oh no." Suddenly, a hand catches her ankle. A voice, cold, calm, merciless. "I've got you." Tara turns, and it's not her father. It's Thragg. He lifts her effortlessly, hanging upside down in his grip like a toy. "Shame," he says with cruel indifference. Falling would have been a far less painful death. "Let me go." Tara kicks and squirms, trying to break free from Thragg's grip, but it's like fighting a wall. He doesn't flinch, just observes. "You are very strong for your age." "Impressive," he says calmly. "You would make a fine addition to my army, but unfortunately, you have to die." Tara glares at him, trembling but defiant. "You don't scare me." Thragg narrows his eyes, almost amused. "A good liar, too. You would have gone far." He raises a hand to her head. "A pity." "Stop, you're hurting me." Suddenly, Rackham, a devastating blow crashes into Thragg, knocking him back and sending Tara flying out of his grip. It's Oliver, Mark's brother, charging in with fearless strength. "Go, find your father," he shouts. But Tara barely has time to process it. She tumbles through the air again, eyes wide. "I'll try." Adam Eve bursts through the rubble, still on the run. Behind her, Ursal storms in, relentless. "Why won't you succumb to the inevitable?" she shouts. "Accept your fate and die with dignity." But Eve isn't backing down. A massive pink construct forms midair as she launches herself forward. "That's not how this works," she yells, slamming Ursal with a glowing projectile. Ursal stumbles, visibly frustrated. "I do not tire. I'm not slowing, and yet you." Eve doesn't let her finish. "Won't stop fighting," she declares, charging again with a glowing pink sword. Ursal parries the strike with her own construct and hisses, "You will when you die." Meanwhile, above them, Mark is caught in a brutal aerial struggle with Onan. The Viltrumite tears into him from behind, stabbing through the air with a roar. Mark twists free, bloodied and furious, but Onan strikes again, a hard blow to the face. Mark grits his teeth. Damn it. Then he retaliates. With savage instinct, Mark lunges and punches Onan's face directly into his eyeball. Onan screams in agony. Onan stumbles back, his face pouring blood. Mark, shirt torn and jaw bruised, doesn't stop. "Tara!" he roars. "Tara!" Ursal crashes to the ground. Shards of Eve's construct scattering around her. Mark, shirtless and bloodied, lands beside Eve and nods with a grin. Mark says, "Nice one, lady." Ursal gets up, furious, clenching her fists. "You." Mark cuts her off with a brutal punch directly to the face. She flies backward. Eve and Mark are already moving. Eve launches another projectile at Ursal, blasting her into the ground once more. Eve urgently asks, "Where is our daughter?" Mark replies, scanning the horizon, "She fell, but I looked all over the area where she fell. Couldn't find her." Eve's eyes widen. "That means she's alive." Mark nods, grabbing her hand. "Let's go make sure she stays that way." The two blast off together toward the sky. We cut to Tara, still in midair, screaming. Below her, Oliver and Thragg are locked in vicious combat. They crash through the sky and slam into a rocky cliffside. As Tara spins through the air, she spots her uncle. Oliver! Thragg pins Oliver down, snarling. Now I see where your loyalty lies. He glares, almost disappointed. Did you ever truly side with us, with your own kind? Oliver, bloodied, stares back. What do you think? Thragg slams him again. I've spent so much time with Thraxan Viltrumites. I know how alien the outside world is to them. With another earth-shattering blow, Thragg sends Oliver crashing into the mountainside. He floats above, emotionless. I think you'd rather not admit to yourself how at home you know you'd be with us. Then, like a missile, he dives toward Oliver. Tara flies in, yelling with fury, "Leave my uncle alone," and lands a strong kick to Thragg's face. It barely moves him, but it's enough to grab his attention. Thragg turns slowly, unaffected but not amused. Tara winces, gasping in pain, her leg hurting from the impact. Oliver yells, "Tara!" and "No!" as he leaps into action. With a massive swing, Oliver slams his fist into Thragg's jaw, trying to protect his niece. But Thragg barely flinches. Thragg calmly replies, "You should be far more concerned with your own well-being." In the next panel, Thragg grabs Oliver again. Tara is seen collapse in the background, watching helplessly. Oliver says his last words, "You may have been bred to be the strongest among us, but I know the real reason you hate my family. We have something you'll never have." Thragg drives his fist into Oliver's chest violently and without hesitation. "Look at this blood of Argol," Thragg says, holding Oliver's body up like a trophy. Nolan groans in agony, blood spilling from his mouth. "Just looks like blood to me." Tara, frozen in shock, screams in horror. Thragg turns toward her with eerie calmness. "Oh, sorry, dear." Tara, trembling and covered in blood, kneels beside Nolan's lifeless body. With wide, tear-filled eyes, she whispers, "Is he dead?" Tara sits next to Oliver's blood-soaked body, her small hands trembling, tears falling silently. Thragg kneels calmly beside her, unfazed by the carnage. "Don't be afraid, child," he says coldly. "It serves no purpose. It won't save you." Tara doesn't answer. Her eyes are wide and brimming with horror. Thragg reaches out and gently touches her cheek, almost fatherly. "What is taking those parents of yours so long anyway?" he wonders. Surely they... Before he can finish, Mark descends from the sky, holding the unconscious, bleeding body of Onan by the throat. His expression is stone cold. Eve floats beside him, tense and furious. "You have my daughter," Mark says, his voice even but burning. "I have your son. This can end here. Just let her go." He tightens his grip on Onan. "Just... Thragg, don't kill her." Thragg rises slowly. He looks at Mark, then down at Oliver's corpse. "Your brother betrayed you," he says. "He was working for me, but he just couldn't let me kill you. That makes him useless to me. A traitor to his kind. Seems to run in your family, doesn't it?" Mark's face is unreadable. "You think I believe for 1 second my child is in danger? You fight for what's right. That's your weakness. You always do what is heroic. That's why everyone around you will die. Being a hero is bull." Mark growls. With no hesitation, he grabs Onan by the neck. The grip tightens, and in a sickening crunch, Mark crushes his throat completely. Onan's eyes go wide in shock as his body convulses. Blood pours from his face, already swollen from the earlier beating. Mark doesn't stop to mourn. He hurls Onan's limp corpse like a missile across the battlefield, straight at Thragg. The impact knocks Thragg back. He turns his head just in time to see the mangled body of his own son slam into his side. Eve growls. But before he can recover, Eve launches herself at him from behind, powered by her constructs. Meanwhile, Tara sobs next to Oliver's lifeless body. "Oliver!" Eve kneels beside her, trying to stay calm despite her panic. "I know, baby. Oh God, your leg." Mark, now shirtless, bleeding and enraged, punches Thragg across the face with such force the blood explodes from Thragg's mouth. Nearby, Tara cries out, "It hurts." Eve gently cups her injured leg and activates her powers. This will make it better. Ursal slams Eve into the ground, yelling, "It's never going to be better, ever again." Tara watches in horror, screaming, "Mommy!" Meanwhile, Thragg has Mark pinned against a rock wall, crushing his face with brutal force. "Don't make this easier," Thragg warns coldly. Mark yells, "No," and with a desperate punch to Thragg's face. Back near the wreckage, Tara rushes to her mother's side. "Mommy," she cries. Eve, barely conscious, mutters, "I can't feel my..." Before she can finish, Ursal raises her hand and smashes Eve's head into the ground. Mark watches helplessly as blood splatters. His scream is silent, his eyes filled with horror. Then, Thragg drives his hand through Mark's torso, his arm bursting out the other side, soaked in blood and entrails. "Let them die slowly," Thragg sneers, standing over Eve's mutilated body, knowing they can't save their daughter. Thragg turns his back, blood dripping from his arms. "Leave her. She will die here, alone. This is how they pay for the destruction of Viltrum." Without emotion, he says to Ursal, "Come," and begins to fly away. Blood drips from Tara's face as she kneels among the bodies of her parents. Her voice trembles, "Mom? Dad? Please don't die." The sun sets behind her as she sits in the dust. Her eyes scan the motionless bodies of Mark and Eve. Her mother's hand is limp, her face smeared with blood. "Mom," Tara whispers again, tears falling harder. Then she hears it, barely a sound, a breath try to form a word. Eve's eye flickers open, her face wrecked, but not lifeless. A bright pink flash lights up the sky. Tara shields her face, squinting into the glow. She watches in awe as Eve's energy form emerges, radiant, divine, restoring not just herself, but Mark too. The trauma burns away in light. Moments later, Mark and Eve kneel beside Tara, embracing her. Mark smiles through tears, holding his daughter tight. "You're alive." Tara laughs and points at her parents. She says, "And I could see your butts." Mark and Eve, now fully regenerated and wearing white suits, smile as Tara hugs them. Eve kneels beside her daughter, gently holding her leg. Tara says, "My leg." Eve replies, I fixed that too." Mark, now examining his fists, asks, "What happened?" Eve explains, "It was like before when conquest nearly killed me. It unlocks my full powers. I rebuilt us." Mark, surprised, asks, Did you make me stronger?" Eve nods. "At least a little, yes. All of us. I didn't know if they were gone." Suddenly, Tara looks down at the body of Oliver. She asks, "Mommy, why didn't you fix Uncle Oliver?" Eve lowers her gaze and says softly, "I tried, but it was too late. I'm sorry." Mark, Eve, and Tara silently observe Oliver's body. Mark says, "I'm sorry. I did this. I tried to turn my back on what needs to be done. I was selfish, and now..." He clenches his fists. "We have to go back, Eve. We have to end this." Eve replies with quiet resolve, "I know." She looks at him and adds, "If we hope to ever have our lives back for good, we have to fight." And that's the story, folks. Please leave your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this one. See you next time.